Hey people, Seth here. Today, I'll be covering one of my favorite games, Majesty, the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. While the game title might have you thinking that you'll be directly managing a kingdom like some strategy game, this is a little misleading. No, as the Sovereign of Ardania, you have no direct control over your heroes, and can only influence them with promises of money or guilt-tripping them emotionally into doing what you want. In many ways, being the King of Ardania is similar to being a mother, because, try as you might to lead your children down a good path in life, they will, inevitably, turn to drinking, gambling, and robbing each other's gravestones instead. It's also the first and only game to be voiced by William Wallace.
Your Excellency, I offer my most humble introduction. I am Lord Ven Fairweather. I was your mother's most trusted advisor. I submit my services to you in that continued capacity.
All the NPCs in this game have their own particular assortment of tastes and motivations, which you must play around and accommodate to actually finish your fucking main objective for each mission. For example, warriors will honorably defend the surrounding lands but are generally too obese to get very far. Rangers love exploring and will gladly map out the fog of war. Thieves will steal treasure and wait for other heroes to die so they can loot the shit out of their bodies. And wizards will generally disappoint you and die. In the off chance one of them manages to survive long enough to actually level up, you'll have a teleporting demigod capable of conquering the entire map alone. Except he won't. More likely, he'll use his powers to teleport out of social situations and hide inside his tower reading shitty Daojins all day instead. Half the fun of the game is watching the AI in bemused frustration while they drink for hours on end, while their own tavern is being set on fire by trolls. Besides their own base inclinations to fight monsters and actually be useful, heroes can also be influenced by offering bounties. These can be placed on unexplored regions to reward exploration, or on monsters and their lairs to reward killing them. Of course, the effectiveness of a bounty is proportional to how dangerous the damn thing is. Paying out 100 gold reward for a giant rat might be reasonable, but killing a Medusa or a Minotaur might demand a higher premium. Thieves, however, are not constrained by such obstacles as personal safety, and will die without hesitation for the possibility of a huge paycheck. The biggest fantasy in Majesty is, of course, having other people pay you taxes. Tax collectors are the lifeblood of your economy, and must be protected at all costs to ensure the future of your feudal society. Tax collectors are fragile and slow, owing to the weight of all the coins they must bravely carry back to the keep, leaving them open to attack by gigantic ratmen that pop out of sewer grates. Infrastructure is a mess in Majesty, so you'll need to plan around the dynamically generated hazards that threaten your royal livelihood. Alternatively, you can let all the tax collectors get murdered in the streets, and instead ask the Thieves Guild to diplomatically convince the peasantry to fork over their tax money. Personal treasure and bounties collected by heroes are considered untaxable income and must be extracted from them through other capitalistic means, such as VAT for purchasing better equipment, supplies, and alcoholic beverages. In many ways, most of the money you spend on heroes will eventually be redistributed back into your own coffers. Despite lacking control of people, you do have full control of what to build, research, and upgrade. Your choices will influence whether or not the kingdom will thrive and attract the guilds and races necessary for your mission success. Among the races you can choose to live alongside humans are gnomes, which bring cheap and unskilled labor from their ghettos, dwarves, which bring industry and automated ballista towers to ensure your kingdom's safety, and the elves, which bring casinos, gambling, and prostitution. The elves also increase the profits of your markets and are very tolerant of other non-humans, which is why they shoot gnome children across Ardania's borders. For some reason, gnomes and dwarves are not as tolerant as the elves, and will refuse to live alongside them. Aside from other races, you can also choose to bring in different, mutually exclusive temples, either picking the monks and healers of order, or the nature cultists and necromancers of chaos. On top of that, you can also choose to worship the sun or moon temple sect. Alternatively, you can choose to pick none of them like I do, and build a temple to Kral, the pagan god of war, who hates every other god because they screwed him over. If you do, you can build no other temple, and who really cares when you can do this? Despite the cozy exterior appearance, Majesty is fucking hard. Completing some of the more challenging missions requires meticulous planning and perfect execution, so don't be surprised if you find yourself retrying them many times. My copy comes with a Northern Realms expansion pack, and altogether you have about 24 missions, but these can easily each take an hour to finish. No strategy is really perfect, so you'll have to experiment for yourself to find what works best in a given situation. The game is ripe and dripping with charm. It's extremely fun to play, and all the voice acting, character interactions, and music make it very memorable. It's aged like wine, and nothing really comes close. You can easily grab it on Good Old Games or Steam for about $10 and have a fantastic time. This review is rather short, much like Gnome Lifespans, and for this reason, shut the fuck up. You don't have to pay for it. May has been a busy month, but hopefully June will leave more time for videos. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild whose generous monetary investments make this all possible. You're all wonderful. Have a good one.